Shalom, it's the time, hit the mic, we align. Torah flow so divine, got the grind by design. From the shtetl to the limelight, stars in the scene. Schmoozing pride, branding dreams, keep it kosher clean. Schmoozing time, where the real ones meet. Jewish pride, beats hit, can't retreat. Personal brands leveled up, take the stage. Schmoozing vibe, wisdom out the cage. Bagels and beats.
Hey Schmoozers, welcome back to the show. And if this is your first time tuning in, I'm David Cobby, and I'm really glad that you're here with us. We've got an incredible episode in store for you today. Before we get started, just a quick thank you from me. I greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this episode. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that follow button on your favorite podcast platform so you'll never miss another episode. If you're the kind of person who's constantly chasing growth, then this is an episode that's for you. My next guest started out chasing the quote unquote normal way of success. He got his CPA, his MBA, worked at EY, which was one of the biggest consulting firms. But a simple shift in his health sparked a much deeper transformation in himself. By helping out his coworkers get in shape, he was eventually led down the path of growth that eventually pushed him to ask bigger questions about purpose, meaning, and what really matters to him. That search brought him face to face with his Jewish identity, which started as curiosity and then became a full-time commitment. Now, after a decade of both building himself spiritually and professionally, he's creating a community for go-getter, high-achieving Jews who want to grow with intention. Please welcome to the show, founder and CEO of Only Up, Nathan Hoffman. Nathan, how are we doing today, man?
Thank God, doing well. David, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I want to ask you something. So on your website, I noticed that, and I said it in the intro there, on your website, you specifically mentioned the word go-getter. And that's a word that I use to describe myself. Other people use it, but I don't think anybody really has a clear definition of it. So Nathan, to start things off, what is a go-getter in your mind?
Yeah, so I was actually going to also add to that. I now say go-getter, go-giver, because a lot of time people think, that getter is just about taking. It's obviously both. But for me, a go-getter is just someone who has goals, who has things they want to go after in life, and they go do it. And it's that simple. Like I have on my little money clip with GG as a reminder, and it was just always something that I always connected with. There was back in the day, I don't want to age myself, but that I always loved. And it's once I think about that, a go-getter, go-giver, that's what I think really embraces, like that action-based, going to do big things, know that they're here for big reasons. And that's what I mean by it.
Okay. I feel like that's a good definition. And the giving part, I think, is also very important. And it's a big part of Judaism. Giving is all of Judaism. The central idea of tikkun olam is giving. For you, though, I feel like Judaism, for most people I grew up kind of in a traditional household, modern Orthodox, whole nine yards. For you, I feel like Judaism, first of all, not only did you find it later in life, but also it's kind of giving to you because you didn't really have that establishment as growing up as a child. So it's kind of in that giving, the religion itself, if we're using metaphors here, the religion itself is giving a lot to you. So I guess, I just read through your whole life story there in 30 seconds. What did I miss from the Judaism part? Like, I know you obviously found Judaism in a number of different ways, and it became a central part of who you are. So maybe go a little bit deeper into your background and kind of how you became more religious over time.
Yeah. So when I think it was about 21, one of my last years in college, I had this weird dream of death, but nothing like grotesque. It was more of like the plug was pulled and that was it. And for some reason, I just could not accept that. I always did like the weirdest things where like, I would always say the Shema, like even in college, which was like the weird, like for me, like growing up secular with, going out, I went to, Hebrew school, and that consisted of me learning how to read Hebrew. There was no real connection of my Judaism at Hebrew school, but for some reason, saying the Shema, and I always like prayed for people at night. It was always something I did. It was just something that for some reason really stuck with me. And when I thought about that vision, it's when I really just started to ask myself, okay, what is this really about? And that really, like, it kept me up for like a few nights. And then it kind of just was in the past, but like in the background of things. But as I started going and, I started to keep asking more questions and I kept trying to explore things like, is this what it's about? Is this what it's about? Because everything that I was told, growing up in a traditional, I guess you could American household, everything was about money and just stuff. And that was my goals in the beginning. I was going to be a billionaire and that was just because and like all these things and then that was really what started that search for me. And I went into everything. I looked into everything like Buddhism, like, whatever I can get my hands on for growth. And then I just couldn't believe Judaism. I couldn't believe, like, I just thought, Judaism is like old school, riding a camel, like they don't use cars. Like it's just prehistoric, and then I started to learn about it and I was just like blown away. And I guess it wasn't
Mhm.
mature enough either when I was, my 20s. I just wanted to party and have fun. And I kept really asking myself, like, this can't be it. Like, this can't be it. So that was the start.
I love that. I guess something that I don't think I've ever asked any of my religious guests this, and like I kind of know the reason behind it, but maybe for listeners that don't know this is obviously Judaism. It's a lot of mental, spiritual change. But one thing for you is you grew out your beard, as you can see right here on the screen, and it's I will admit it's a very nice beard. I think it would take me years to get there. But I guess like I know there's the halakha that talks about, or not halakha. There's I don't know what it is, but there's I guess there's more of like a minhag that talks about like not cutting your beard. And this is not a rabbinical show. We're not going to go into the whole specifics behind it. But I guess like for you, how did that like physical change of yourself hold you accountable to keeping Judaism more strictly?
Yeah. So to be honest, I don't think that really held anything more accountable. I think
Okay.
once I put the keep on, that was a big deal for me because growing up in America, everything's how you look. Like literally, I would ask any of my friends from high school. Like I would make sure my hair was perfect. Everything had to be pristine. It's how you look, the clothes you wear, the brands you had, that was what was important. And so for me, that to put something on my head was such a big deal. And the beard was really just an extra push for me because I have some crazy beard stories, which if you want to get into any of them, I can. But
Let's do it.
what happened was for me, because it was so external, I really I decided to take it on kind of as a way to get over the ego side and the external side of things. Not meaning
Mhm,
that I'm gonna now just like grow a beard and let myself go. Nothing like
mhm,
that. But more of that like this is such a big thing. And I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. I'm not gonna certain work I'm not gonna be able to do. There's certain things that are not gonna happen because of the beard. And I was blown away that like it actually complete opposite things happened. Everything that I thought was gonna be a hurdle to getting to doing work I thought the beard would bring, and it was the complete opposite. I actually jobs came about from that. My marriage came around about that. It's like really crazy things that I could have never imagined because we all have these belief systems, and really the belief systems are what hold us back all the time. And just thinking like, oh, I thought maybe a beard is gonna hamper me from getting a job somewhere or doing certain work or working with certain people. But I was like, I don't care. I'm just gonna go over that, and actually the opposite happened. So for me, it was just yeah, it's just like getting out of my own way.
if you need again, if
No,
you
no,
need
no,
to get
I
up
get it.
again,
No,
please do. I
no, no.
don't
Obviously, life danger. I will. Don't worry.
um where were we? We were talking about shoot. We were talking about Jewish background, beard, representing yourself. Um oh my god, what else were we talking about? Trying to think. Whatever. Okay, we can. What I'll do is I'll
You can
edit
have fun
something
with
in.
this. This
So
is, obviously,
I know exactly.
uh, uh,
Uh, you know, one thing, Nathan. One thing we were talking about on the phone was this idea that it's hard to find Jewish people that are, and this might sound a little controversial, but it's hard to find Jewish people that are of this go getter mentality. It's funny because I was actually having a conversation. My rabbi, so I live in Baltimore now, and my Chabad rabbi actually came, nicest guy in the world, came to work to like learn with me, and we were talking about this idea of like not being content with our lives and always wanting growth. Judaism says a lot of things about it, but I think um, for Judaism purpose, for the religion itself, it's kind of hard to have a growth mindset in a way because we do the same thing over and over and over again, right? Like for example, you look at the Jewish New Year, you're gonna have this, or you look at the Jewish calendar, you're gonna have the same chagim every single year. Every Friday, you're gonna have Shabbat. So it's like it's hard to get out of this like it's hard to like really have a growth mindset, so to speak. So I guess like from knowing that and knowing that Jewish people are kind of in that mindset of like we're going to do the same things over and over again, like how do you I guess like solve this issue of Jews being maybe I don't know if complacent is the right word, but how do you solve this issue of there not being enough go-getter, go-giver Jews out there?
Yeah, so I guess the unique thing is there probably are, but for some reason I haven't come into contact with too many. But like, Mark Zuckerberg, I don't believe it's an accident. Uh, Internally, you say like everything's the same, but every day technically is the same, right? Everything that we do is the same. The question is, how do we make that time more valuable? And one
Hmm.
big thing in Judaism I know is you're not supposed to have any time idle. If you actually follow things properly, there's really no idle time. There's meditation, there's time to think through things, but if you're not speaking Torah or all day long, then you better be working or doing something else because in Judaism, you are meant to be focused on every aspect of the day. And for
Hmm.
me, it was very hard too, because like, every time you go to the bathroom, you say a blessing. And I was like, I just want to do something. I don't want to spend my time saying this and taking this long time to say a bracha and all that. But I realized that in the moment, that is like the importance of valuing the time, valuing the fact that you can even go to the bathroom. Like people that can't go to the bathroom, it's the worst pain in the world. And so like to be grateful for those things and to really step back and, for me, it's still hard. I can't like, it's so, first of all, I said the C word, which in my family, we don't say. So our kids, anytime they say can't, I say, what is that again? And then, oh, it's difficult or whatever. But it's very hard for me even to like sit down and just appreciate a meal because I just want to keep doing. And so I just think in general, you focus on every moment. And if you really truly believe you're doing something that's purposeful or your purpose for being here in this world, then I do believe you will want to be on fire and do everything you can to stay productive and towards that goal. On the other end of things, God is the one who makes the decision. So it's
Hmm.
this weird dichotomy of you knowing that you could do anything with the big boss is like I always like to say it's like with God anything is possible. Without God,
Right.
you know, have fun. If you want to play like a game of whatever, then you can play the game. But when you know the big boss, you know the big boss. So
Hmm. What one topic in specific that I wanted to touch on in terms of this development and growing process is in fitness specifically. Like I know for you, fitness is something that's very important to you, and you helped your coworkers get in shape. And for me, I've kind of started on a new fitness journey, just like trying to get more lean, put on more muscle, eat really, really crazy healthy. And I think that's the biggest area in Judaism where we don't see enough people
yeah,
prioritizing their health.
I don't get it.
And it's just it's frustrating to me because I honestly this week it's weird. I have a podcaster that I listen to all the time. His name's M. Milet. I absolutely love him,
I know
obsessed
him
with
as
him,
well. Yeah, he's
whatever.
great.
Personal development guy. He's phenomenal. He talks about like how when you have all your routines in sync, things are just better. So for me, this week was actually the first week that I started to put on tefillin every single day. Like since last Sunday, I put on tefillin, and my goal for the year was to put on tefillin once a week. And whatever, a lot of things changed, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start put on tefillin every single day, and I'm gonna stop making excuses because it takes 15 minutes. And when I started doing that, My workouts started getting better. I started eating healthier. It's just like everything kind of moved in sync. And it was just like, it's been amazing. Like this week, I felt so clean and healthy. Yet, I feel like a lot of Jews don't realize the importance of fitness and people in general. I mean, we're talking about Americans. They're eating freaking garbage all the time. And it's like, whatever, that's a whole other conversation. But I guess in the Jewish realm, we're so focused on our food and what we eat and bringing Shabbat and having the best food for Shabbat. But yes, you can eat whatever you want to an extent and like enjoy that food. But on the other side, you need to do the work with your body. So, as somebody that's been in the fitness realm and also is a religious observant Orthodox Jew, like why is there not emphasis on our bodies in Judaism?
That's a good question. And to be honest, I don't know the answer. But it is very frustrating to me because if you're here, if you want to serve your creator, you want to have the best, cleanest energy possible. And without working out and without eating right, then you cannot, it's not physically possible. So the big thing is, I know the big thing in Judaism is you don't want to glorify the body. That was a mistake I
Mhm.
made originally. The mistake originally was I did working out. I felt amazing, but it also was a huge ego thing. Like I had to go running with my shirt off so everyone could see my six pack and everyone could see all the hard work I put in. And
Yeah.
to now fast forward, I realized, okay, that was the wrong way of approaching it. But I'm very blessed that I was able to approach it that way because I realized how much better I felt, how much more I can do, how much clearer I thought. And so to me, this is like the basics. If you want to achieve anything in this world, then you need to be healthy. It's just very simple. And if you don't, then you're just not that serious. And it's just that simple to me at least.
And it's funny because in Israel, I feel like it's maybe it's a little bit different because of the lifestyle, but I feel like in general, Israelis are a little bit more, actually a lot more healthier than the Americans. But yeah, I could not agree with that more. Like I feel like I have just started to really appreciate myself and um I think when it comes to like representing yourself, it's like you want to look good, right? You don't want to look like a schlump. Going back to what I was saying earlier, it's like if you show up and you're fit and you're or at least you're doing the steps to like be fit, like that's all that matters. But I want to take a step back for a second. So you were saying how like it got to be like an ego thing and you don't glorify the body. I think that's something that I'm personally struggling with now. It's like I want to like glorify like I want to look
Yeah, I
as
get
good
it.
as possible, right? Like I want to like be as muscular as possible and as lean as possible. So I guess like how do you do that, right? Cuz like you're trying to achieve, you know in your head, you want that dream body. You want that like you want to hit all your fitness goals. And yeah, it might be on the scale, but like in reality it's like how we look. So how do you not have that like ego focused look on your body, but still achieve your fitness goals?
No, so you have that body. There's nothing wrong with that body. It's just showing it off so much. That's the problem. Like, I think
Okay.
it's
Okay.
like the bigger test is the fact of someone who is completely ripped, in great shape, and doesn't have to show anyone because internally they know they put in the work. Because what that builds really is just the confidence to go into any room and know that you can achieve. If you can achieve that, it shows discipline. It shows so much about your character, and people you'll see it. Like for me, only problem is like tzitzit. Like where tzitzit, it actually makes you look like your stomach's a little bigger. But like whatever, I
Right.
know I'm not, so I don't care. But like for other people, it's a little harder or whatever. But the point is, it is important to be in great shape and to have that physique, but it's not to show the physique. It's not for the beach. Like that for me, it was the beach. For me, it originally was get a six pack. I got a six pack. I was like, okay, now what? Bigger arms, bigger legs, like bigger chest, more definition, more this, more that. And it just kept growing because I thought that would bring me happiness. And then I went to more cars and money and just the typical progression until I finally went inside and realized I was just, there's so much missing there. So that's so go get the six pack, get no question, be strong, be very strong, hit new goals, hit new targets. There's no question about that. But it's the fact of having to show it at the beach. Like, look, if you're going to the beach to go swimming, then cool. But like, if you're going to the beach to take off your shirt so that everyone can see you swimming, that's a big difference.
Mhm. No, you're right. And it's also this idea of like being satisfied. I think this is something that everybody struggles with is like, how can you be satisfied but still want to go hit your goals? And it's something it's very tough, especially in the fitness world where you should be okay with your body. Like you should be okay with your body. It shouldn't be like a detriment on you. Like, oh my God, like I have to fast for 72 hours so that I can lose all this weight. Like you shouldn't have to do that. But at the same time, it's like you need to put an emphasis on eating healthy, working out, doing all the little things right. Not only is this the case for fitness, but also for business. And I think somebody like you can speak to this more than I can, as you started out in kind of the traditional corporate realm, um, doing M&A, doing all these things, and you've helped the company go public, and you've started a couple businesses now. So I guess for you, like, how do you balance that in business specifically? Like, how do you balance that feeling of like being satisfied versus trying to hit all your goals and achieve everything that you want to do?
Yeah, so I think I'm never gonna. I mean, technically, you're satisfied with your lot, and I think it's Pierre Chiavo that says like you should always look at someone who has less than you, when it comes to materiality, and thank God for what you have. And spiritually, you should always up to someone who has more, and always strive for that. For me, I don't. I'm never going to be satisfied because I don't want to leave anything out. I don't want to leave anything, on the table in terms of like the work and that I want to do and what I'm here to do. So I don't think there's anything wrong with having big goals. I think what's more of the issue is blindly having goals or blindly going after something that you haven't really thought through or that you haven't really
Mm,
connected to who you are as a person and what you want to accomplish in the world. Because that I think is where the big mistakes happen. I believe that God will show you everything you need to see. And I've been a testament. Everything that happens in my life is it's crazy. Like divine providence, like is it's an understatement. Everything I've seen the miracles happen in my life over and over again in the times that I was like, there's no way this could happen. And so I would say you should definitely have huge goals and you should never be satisfied with your goals, but always be open to that. A message is being sent every second of like what you should be doing and not be doing. And you start to build that, I'd say, framework of like the gut feeling or being connected to your creator of where you should be going. Because I've been very blessed that I've been shown so many times like what I needed to do, like even making out, yeah, like all these stories have happened to me. It's like crazy. And when I just let go of control, like it doesn't mean you let go of your goals. It doesn't mean you become like go light
mm,
on your goals. But when you let go of control of the whole situation, you also just step back and say, God, look, if you want me, like for example, if you want me staying here in spot, then I'll stay here in spot. If you want me to go to Tel Aviv, I'll go to Tel Aviv. I'm not leaving Israel, but like you could show me the way. This is where I think I'm going. I'm going on that path until you tell me otherwise. So that's really the way. And I don't know. I wouldn't. You got to go for it. You got to go for the biggest home runs. And I'd say in terms of life, that's you know again, I don't know if this is the fear of death talking, as well, and that like I just want to do everything that I can to just be the best version of myself that I could be, and that was something that I always like always stuck with me. Like Moses was always like, you know, if someone else had the same abilities as me, maybe they can do more, and I just want to make sure that like
mhm.
no, if someone I just want to do the most that I can do. So I don't
Right.
go big.
Exactly. And in business specifically, like how has that helped you? Like I know you've started a couple companies and you've been very successful in that realm, not only just from like a money perspective, but also from a connections perspective and growing your brand. So maybe talk a little bit about that in relation to your actual business experience.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of it. Originally, this is also why I'm coaching, is that a lot of people have this mistake of the way of thinking that you can only do one thing. Like you can only either be
Mm,
religious and just have a regular job, or be a superstar and not be able to do all the religious stuff. I truly believe when things are in harmony, it's everything can be done. Like the amount of time people waste, whether it's on social media or email or doing tasks that they really don't need to be doing, it's just about becoming the best version of yourself and the best use of time. And I truly believe that you could do all of that, and I've went from, single, working every day before I was religious, 7 days a week, doing everything that I could to do work on startups and talk to people and do whatever I can do, to now working, 6 days a week, a very young family. I have 4 kids under the age of 6 and under. And yeah, it's, you have a baby, we have a 2-year-old who's in like the craziest of phases, and so like, and in a war zone and during COVID and during all these things. And to be able to still, thank God I've been very blessed, but to be able to continually move forward towards my goals, continue to move forward. It's just having an army. Like literally 3 to 4 hours of my day is spiritual work with Torah, Tehillim, learning. And don't get me wrong, I have times where I'm like, I'll listen to Tanya while I'm eating, or I'll listen to the Chumash while I'm eating, or doing some, I'm not fully present. This is very honest because I just want to get going and do more, which is not always the right thing as well. But the
Mhm.
point is that you can do all that. Like I spend time in the morning with my kids. I spend time at night with my kids. I'm still able to like work out, do all the stuff that I've, put on my plate, and just do it all. And so that's the beauty of it. I think you can do it all. And it's only a, testament to Hashem creating this world in a way that is all possible. And that's the beauty. Is like you can have your cake and eat it too, but I wouldn't know this because I can't bake a cake. I can't bake anything. But I know that when it comes to baking, precision is so important. If you overdo something with one ingredient, it can ruin the whole thing. And so I think that's what this life is all about, is just being precise with your time in not missing an area and not spending time. So like I have a whole system that I go through every Elul for the year to make sure, am I not spending enough time in certain areas? Or if I have a lower score, let's say on the financial side, that it's okay based on what I'm doing in certain, like I have a whole system. But like the point is to just, really scrutinize what you're doing and being honest with yourself, which is the hardest thing. So
Absolutely. It's something, well, Nathan, I appreciate somebody like you being honest with yourself, because I think that's very telling of who you are. And as a coach, there's a lot of coaching businesses
yeah,
out there. There's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, I've done millions and millions of dollars in
yeah,
revenue and whatever." And I always look at those people and I'm like, "Why are you leading with money?" Right? Like it's something that I've developed over the past year, is like, money's not everything. It all comes down to your habits. That's, at least in my mind, that's literally the essence of everything. Like if we're looking at it from like a little bottom up, your habits and how you perform in your everyday life is literally where you will go in life. If you are sucked into TikTok and you eat like garbage and you don't get any sleep, chances are you will not have a very good life. If you work out every day, if you learn Torah or put on tefillin, or and you work hard, whatever, chances are you're gonna have a more meaningful life. Maybe the money comes with it. Who knows? I don't know. But I think it's important that, we continue to be honest with ourselves, and it's so hard. It's very hard. Like I try and like be as honest with myself as possible. And every Sunday I'll sit down for an hour, which probably isn't enough time, but I'm still doing something, and literally go through my goals and say, okay, did I do this? Did I do this? Did I do this? Why didn't I do that? How can I do that better next week, etc. So it's like there's not enough people doing that. But I guess for you as a coach, right? Like, how do you want to portray yourself to other people? In other words, there's these coaches out there that are saying, "I'm going to make you more money. I'm going to do this with you. I'm going to do that with you." Right? Like there's all these promises on the other end of things. So I guess for you, like, what is your promise as a coach?
yeah. So my promise is you'll become a better person. You'll become a much better version of yourself. And we'll be able to look in the mirror and know that you are working towards those goals of what you're really here to do, and that you really have done the internal work as well. Because I did all the external work, then I did the internal work, and then I had to like put it all together. And then I got married, and then I had kids. So the point is that these coaches that talk about money and they talk about all these highlight reels, they are
Mm.
selling a fake dream, because you can have the money and you cannot be happy. You can not have the money and you can be happy. I believe you can have both. I believe you can do all those things, but it takes work. And if you're not willing to put in the work, then you're not going to want to work with me. You're not, that's just very simple. If you believe there's going to be a quick fix, if you believe you're going to do a 3-week course or a 12-week course, make $1 million, maybe you can, but that's not going to teach you the principles to really have a life that can be built over time with the big boss. And that's like the key. So for me, like I talk the talk, everything I talk about, I do. And if I don't talk about it, it's because I don't do it. And it's very simple. And so I think that's the best coaches are the ones that people want to emulate. People know who they are and what they've done and what they've come from and my whole goal behind this is people don't have to go at it alone. Like I did the whole thing. I had, some mentors and some people that I've definitely looked up to, but like, I wish there was a group of other guys that were also, looking to make things happen. And I'm finding people, slowly, throughout time. I'm starting to find people. Like, for example, one of my coaches is not Jewish, and he's an amazing example of high standards. And it's great. I'm learning a lot from him. But my question is, why is there not someone in the Jewish world at that level who can help people really get to their best self? And that's why I stepped into this because, I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to be, putting in time, like editing stuff in the beginning. And I know eventually I have people doing editing stuff for me too as well. But like, that's not where I want to spend my time. But I know how important it is for personal brand. And, I feel like the future is all about personal brand. And it's going to be personal brand. And and I want my kids to see who their father was, 20 years, before when they started to, they've heard a lot of things from me and they see stuff from me. They see me working out and they see me exercising. They see me, I go, to the mikveh every morning. They see I pray 3 times. They see all these things, but like to really see who I am and to really see what I believe. This is why I'm doing the social media stuff because I know how important it is to build that personal brand and to be authentic. And, a lot of people are like, oh, well, you're going to have to post, 7 days a week. I don't believe that. Sorry. Like, no algorithm is going to tell me what I have to do. I'm going to be myself.
Right.
I don't post on Shabbat. I don't post, obviously, and I don't post Motzi Shabbat, even though I could, because I don't want someone to see my stuff that is, Jewish and that probably shouldn't be looking at it. So I wait till Sunday. Same thing, even with the holidays and the Chagim in America, I won't post a second day
Right.
just in case someone is going to see my stuff. And a lot of people say
Wow.
it's going to kill you in your algorithm. I don't care. I'm going to get to the top with the big boss, no matter what algorithm says or does. And I'm not worried about it. I just know that I'm supported and I know I'm doing the right thing because that's just where I'm going. And so I think it's just, it's really just being authentic. And, so I want people who want to be authentic and want to just do the work and willing to do the work. And I can help, be a mirror to the things that they can work on them in the best way possible. So like, like you were talking about your schedule, like I would say, look at your goals every day. Every day you should look at your goals. I look at my goals at least 2 times a day, sometimes 3 times a day. I also have is the background of my computer. So I see even more than that in the background of my phone. So I see it every second that I can see it because I know this is where I'm going and nothing's going to stop me except for the big boss. And that is it. If he wants to stop me to do something else, then okay. But otherwise, this is just who I am. And I just believe that's what's needed in the world. So.
Wow. I love that message. And I think it's very cool that you're and I agree with you to that on the algorithm piece because I think the algorithm's totally skewed. Like for me personally, one thing that I struggle with is I spend a lot of time editing my videos and I work incredibly hard to make the videos look good for a couple hundred views, which I know is a lot, which I shouldn't be complaining about, but I know of people that will like literally slap a thing on there and they get hundreds of thousands of views. So like you can't tell me what the algorithm will
Yeah.
and won't like. It's kind of just like a crapshoot. But also the fact that you won't post on Shabbat or Motzei Shabbat or on second days because another Jew might see it and God forbid he's on his
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah, God forbid. Look,
That
I'm not, to be honest, I'm not,
or not God forbid.
yeah, but you know what I mean? Like in the sense that like, I just don't want to be the cause of someone to watch my video because I posted it the day after and they could see it. I was secular. I was on Facebook, back in the day, and I liked to, it was all about glamour. It was all about how I looked. I had to be the perfect
Mhm.
picture, whatever. So there's no judgment at all. I just don't want to be the cause of someone to look at something like that I created the day after because, I could just wait and I waited because I'm not worried about the algorithm. people are going to connect to people they value and to people that are true to themselves, true to their word, not just to get
Mhm.
likes or like I know there's a lot of techniques. Especially like I'll sell you, I'll make you $1 million in what like I could do all that. I could say all those things, but it's not true. It's not real. And so I'm just gonna be myself. And I truly believe that just being authentic is an art today. Just being yourself is an art to not even on like my videos. Sometimes like I'll be posting and I see like a little gray hair and like I'm like, oh, I want to push that in. Like, but like that's just like the ego side of things. But like, that's just, I just got to be true to who I am and get over those things, get over the hairlines going up a little more. This is, even though that was my biggest concerns back in the day. But the point is that you just being true and authentic. And I feel like what you're doing with your podcast, just being real and talking to people, those 100 people are your biggest fans and are the best people because they're going to be there when they saw you at 500, people when, you're at 100,000 likes or a million or whatever it may be.
Right.
And they'll be the original one saying, I was there back then, And so just every follower, don't take for granted because you're giving them just so much in terms of great people and great content. I've seen your content and it's just so important to just get
Thank
these
you.
messages out. So yeah, don't worry about that. Look, I'm pushing on my, I'm just getting up to like 630 something people, but it's a priority and I'm focused on it. And so it'll go up that way. What you focus on, is going to grow. So
hmm Maybe this is going to be another controversial.
yeah,
Listen. I like to
bring it.
bring
Okay,
controversy
yeah.
to the, but but can you? And this is something that like I thought the answer was yes for the longest time, but now that like after hearing you speak, I think the answer is more no. But like, can you truly be authentic online? And what I mean by that is like every time you post a video, you're doing it to gain attention. Maybe you're doing it to gain trust, but you're posting a video so that other people will see you, other people will see your content. It's not necessarily for their benefit. It could be, but it's more for your benefit, right? Like you want to post a video 99% of the time, you want likes, you want shares, you want comments, you want this, you want that. So it's like you're not really doing it for your to like yourself, right? You are, but you're doing it more for your platform. So I guess circling back to that, like if we all have that same mentality with social media, we're probably going to post the things that get the most attention, but maybe not focus on the things that are the most important. So can you really be authentic online?
Yeah, I think you can. I think you can. There's always going to be that line, like you said, where it's like, is this going to, connect with more people or not? But if your message out there is to help someone who's going through some struggle that you have, then that is
Mhm.
where you focus. And that's what I need to focus on. That's where I know it's like, I want people to trust me and see what I do on a daily basis, because that's important, obviously. But I think if you're really focusing on the pain points of other people, because that is really where you give your greatest gift. And my mentor says, like, give your best stuff away for free. Give it all away for free, because that is your way of serving. You're actually being selfish, not sharing the life lessons and things that you've learned. Because if that one person that saw it, that really is going to make a change because of the work that you did, then it's all worth it, technically, right? So
Mhm.
there's like this, don't get me wrong, there is that other side of things where it is like your ego side of things and likes. And I'm looking at my numbers too. Numbers matter because like, but there is a time the numbers matter because if you're gaining attention, then the goal is if you're getting attention in a positive way, then you're doing what you're meant to do, which was share the messages that you're looking to share. And I think that's where it is. And look, there's always going to be that vanity side of things. And
Right.
it's always going to be there. But I think if you are putting out I think the right messages and really, the thing in Chassidut is what comes from the heart enters the heart. That I really think is authentic. And I think the people that are winning the most at the social game are authentic and they are human. And even if they are stars, you still see that side of them that is a little, that's human, that just people want human to human behavior, especially now with AI and everything that's happening. Like, people want to
Yeah.
see raw, real people, and they want to see the things that are not always glorified. And I think that's where
Mhm.
it's just it's a tough one. It's really a tough question, but I think it's possible, and I think if you're doing it for the right reasons, then it's definitely possible. And I hope to believe that I am, even though there always is that side of like, yeah, I want likes, I want people but likes means people are resonating. Likes mean maybe it is helping.
Right.
And so it just depends on
Right.
it depends on the mindset. But yeah, it's controversial and it's a good question.
It's yeah, it's tough. It's something that I struggle with. It's like personal branding is I think it's the single most important thing in life in terms of how you promote yourself to other people and how you present yourself. And social media is that medium that you have to use, right? Because like if there's no social media, Nathan, if I
Yeah,
wasn't posting videos, we wouldn't be having this
correct.
conversation right now. Like we don't know anybody. I mean, maybe we do know people in common. I'm sure we know people, but whatever. Like it's a platform that I think you kind of have a choice, right? Like talking about the big man, right? Like your reference, like Hashem is giving us this tool of social media, right? We have a choice. Do we want to use it for good or do we want to use it for bad? And there are people that are out there that are using it for good, and
Correct.
I like to think I'm one of them. I like to think
Yeah,
you're one of
correct.
them. But then there are also people out there that are using it for bad, and that is and they're trying to do things that are completely awful, but that's just the choice that you have to make when you sit down and you hit post and you put all your effort into your videos. So I think it's a struggle.
Yeah,
It's
in
something
the
that
end, I
like
believe
nobody will.
yeah, in the end, I believe all the negative side of things is it's going to be shown, and no matter what, if people are deceiving people into buying things, it always come out today. Even more so, a brand will be is over once you do something that is lying to people and deceiving people. And so I think in the long game, if you're really in it for the long run and you're really looking to build something properly, that it'll all the negatives will wash itself out. And you can also just be very good at scrutinizing who you follow and what you see, which is what I do as well. I just make sure I'm not watching things that are, just have no point to be watching. And that's just important to scrutinize every person that is coming through your feed.
Well, Nathan, I think we could just like we haven't even touched on AI. We haven't
So
touched
much.
on
There's so much.
your coaching. There's so much, and there's so little time. But I guess like any parting words for you before we end the episode, like maybe where people could find you on social media or any advice to people.
Yeah. So first of all, if anyone's interested, I did create a GPT, a chat GPT, uh, basically my own that helps with like finding your unique purpose. So if that's something your listeners want, they could just message me, um, you know, for your pod, any of your guests, they can message me at info@onlyup.me and I'll happily share it with them. And it just walks you through the process of helping you identify where you can, do your greatest work. But that's the thing is just my biggest thing, if anyone I can leave people with anything is that ask the biggest questions and the hardest questions that are going to make you really dig deep because you know in Judaism we believe you have multiple lives and different there's no question
Mhm.
about that you come back and all these different things but I want people to just want to leave it all out in this world in this one no matter what happens in the next world and whatever happens with like Mashiach times I don't care this is where we are right now ask those questions get in good shape push yourself to the limit and do everything you can just to be the greatest version of yourself and to give the most to the world. And that is what I think people should be asking. And it's very easy to get comfortable. It's very easy to just, comfort swipe and comfort watch Netflix or whatever you want, because it
Mhm.
feels good and dopamine going, all these things are great. But ask yourself those questions because you don't want to ever get. And I've read so many books that just said like, people at the end always have this regret. I wish I would have did this. Like I literally am starting a business right now with 4 young kids without, any other, revenue coming in. Like I've jumped all in without, this like extra money just like flowing in. Whereas back in the day, I could do that because I could sleep on the floor. I could do whatever I had to do to grind, whatever I had to do.
Mhm.
And I just know that I'm not going to leave anything on the table, and I don't want anyone to do that as well. I just want people to become the best version of themselves, to give of what they have to give to the world, and only up, and that's it. That's the thing.
Oh, only up. I like how you ended there. Only up. I love it. Well, guys, make sure to go check out Nathan's stuff. What's your Instagram handle, by the way?
Yes, and Hoffman only up.
All right. And Hoffman only up on Instagram. Make sure to go check out his stuff. Also go check out his website, onlyup.me. Pretty cool stuff, guys. Nathan, thank you for coming on the show. Guys, share this episode with somebody also. I know that there are a lot of people like me out there, young Jewish hustlers that want it, that want to go get it, that are go-getters, that haven't found that exact avenue. So maybe Nathan can help them. Who knows? I don't know. And also, make sure you're share this with somebody. Follow Schmoozing Time on the socials. You know where to find us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. We're probably out there. Until next time, keep schmoozing.